Hello everybody, welcome to the audiobook of class 11th and 12th NCERT Biology. This is class 11th chapter 6 Anatomy of Flowering Plants. You can very easily see the structural similarities and variation in the external morphology of the larger living organism, both plant and animals. Similarly, if we were to study the internal structure, one also finds several similarities as well as differences. This chapter introduces you to the internal structure and functional organization of higher plants. Study of internal structure of plant is called anatomy. Plants have cells as the basis unit. Cells are organized into tissue and in turn the tissue are organized into organs. Different organs in a plant show differences in their internal structure. Within angiosperms, the monocots and dicot are also seen to be anatomically different. Internal structures also show adaptations to diverse environment. The tissue. A tissue is a group of cells having a common origin and usually performing a common function. A plant is made of different kind of tissue. Tissues are classified into two main groups, namely meristematic and permanent tissue, based on whether the cell being formed are capable of dividing or not. Meristematic tissue. Growth in plants is largely restricted to specialized regions of active cell division called meristems. Plants have different kind of meristems. The meristems which occur at the tip of root and shoots and produce primary tissue are called apical meristem. Root apical meristem occupy the tip of a root while the shoot apical meristem occupies the distant most region of the stem axis. During the formation of leaves and elongation of stem, some cells left behind from shoot apical meristem constituted the axillary bud. Such buds are present in the axial of leaves and are capable of forming a branch or a flower. The meristem which occurs between mature tissue is known as intercalary meristem. They occur in grass and regenerate parts removed by the grazing herbivores. Both apical meristems and intercalary meristems are primary meristems because they appear early in life of a plant and contribute to the formation of the primary plant body. The meristem that occur in the mature region of root and shoot of many plants, particularly those that produce wood, axis and appear the latter than primary meristem, is called the secondary or lateral meristem. They are cylindrical meristems. Fascicular, vascular cambium, interfascicular cambium and core cambium are examples of lateral meristems. These are responsible for producing the secondary tissue. Following division of cell in both primary as well as secondary meristems, the newly formed cell become structurally and functionally specialized and lose the ability to divide. Such cells are termed permanent or mature cells and constitute the permanent tissue. During the formation of the primary plant body, a specific region of the apical meristem produce dermal tissue, ground tissue and vascular tissue. Permanent tissue. The cell of the permanent tissue do not generally divide further. Permanent tissue having all cells similar in structure and function are called simple tissue. Permanent tissue having many different types of cell are called complex tissue. Simple tissue. A simple tissue is made of only one type of cell. The various simple tissue in plants are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma forms the major component within organs. The cells of the parenchyma are generally isodiametric. They may be spherical, oval, round, polygonal or elongated in shape. Their walls are thin and made up of cellulose. They may either be closely packed or have small intercellular spaces. The parenchyma performs various functions like photosynthesis, storage, secretion. The collenchyma occurs in layer below the epidermis in most of the dicotyledonous plant. It is found either as a homogeneous layer or in patches. It consists of cells which are much thickened at the corners due to a deposition of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. Collenchymatous cell may be oval, spherical or polygonal and often contain chloroplast. These cells assimilate food when they contain chloroplast. Intercellular space are absent. They provide mechanical support to the growing part of the plant such as young stem and petiole of a leaf. Sclerenchyma consists of long, narrow cell which thick and lignified cells wall having a few or numerous pits. They are usually dead and without the protoplast. On the basis of variation in form, structure, origin and development, sclerenchyma may be either fibrous or sclerites. The fibers are thick-walled, elongated and pointed cell, generally occurring in groups in various parts of the plant. The sclerites are spherical, oval or cylindrical, highly thickened dead cell with very narrow cavities, lumen. These are commonly found in the fruit wall of nuts, pulp of fruit like guava, pear and sapota, seeds coat of legumes and leaves of tea. Sclerenchyma provide mechanical support to organs. Complex tissue. The complex tissue are made of more than one type of cell and these work together as a unit. Xylem and phloem constitute the complex tissue in plant. Xylem function as a conducting fiber of water and minerals from root to the stem and leaves. It also provides mechanical strength to the plant parts. It is composed of four different kind of elements, namely tracheids, vessels, xylem fiber and xylem parenchyma. Gymnosperm lack vessels in their xylem. Tracheids are elongated or tube-like cells with thick and lignified walls and tapering ends. These are dead and are without protoplasm. The inner layer of the cell wall having thickening which vary in form. In flowering plants, tracheids and vessels are the main water transporting elements. Vessels is a long cylindrical tube-like structure made up of many cells called vessel membranes, each with lignified walls and large central cavity. The vessel cells are also devoid of protoplasm. Vessel membranes are interconnected through perforation in their common walls. The presence of vessel is a characteristic feature of angiosperm. Xylem fiber have highly thickened wall and obliterate central lumens. These may either be septate or aseptate. Xylem parenchyma cells are living and thick-walled and their cell wall are made up of cellulose. They store food material in form of starch or fat and other substance like tannins. The radial conduction of water takes place by the ray parenchymatous cell. Primary xylem is of two types, protoxylem and metaxylem. The first formed primary xylem elements are called protoxylem and the latter formed primary xylem is called metaxylem. In stems, the protoxylem lies toward the center pith and the metaxylem lies toward the periphery of the organ. This type of primary xylem is called endarch. In roots, the protoxylem lies towards periphery and metaxylem lies toward the center. Such arrangement of primary xylem is called exarch. Phloem transport food materials usually from leaves to the other parts of the plant. Phloem in angiosperm is composed of sieve tubes element, companion cell, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Gymnosperm have albuminous cell and sieve cells. They lack sieve tubes and companion cell. Sieve tube elements are also long, tube-like structure arranged longitudinally and are associated with the companion cell. Their end walls are perforated in a sieve-like manner to form the sieve plates. A mature sieve element possesses a peripheral cytoplasm and a large vacuole but lack a nucleus. The function of sieve tubes are controlled by the nucleus of companion cell. The companion cell are specialized parenchymatous cells which are closely associated with sieve tube elements. The sieve tube elements and companion cell are connected by pit field present between their common longitudinal walls. The companion cell have maintained the pressure gradient in the sieve tubes. Phloem parenchyma is made up of elongated tapering cylindrical cell which have dense cytoplasm and nucleus. The cell wall is composed of cellulose and has pits through which plasmodesmatal connection exists between the cells. The phloem parenchyma stores food material and other substances like resins, latex and mucilage. Phloem parenchyma is absent in most of the monocotyledonous. Phloem fibers, bast fibers are made up of sclerenchymatous cell. These are generally absent in the primary phloem but are found in the secondary phloem. These are much elongated, unbranched and have pointed needle-like apex. The cell wall of phloem fibers is quite thick. At maturity, these fibers lose their protoplasm and become dead. Phloem fibers of jute, flax and hemp are used commercially. The first formed primary phloem consists of narrow sieve tubes and is referred to as protophlloem, and the later formed phloem has bigger sieve tubes and is referred to as metaphloem. The tissue system. We were discussing type of tissue based on type of cell present. Let us now consider how tissue vary depending on their location in the plant body. Their structure and function would also be dependent on the location. On the basis of their structure and location, there are three types of tissue system. These are the epidermal tissue system, the ground or fundamental tissue system and the vascular or conducting tissue system. Epidermal tissue system. The epidermal tissue system forms the outermost covering of the whole plant body and comprise epidermal cell, stomata and the epidermal appendages. The trichomes and hairs. The epidermis is the outermost layer of the primary plant body. It is made up of elongated, compactly arranged cells which form a continuous layer. Epidermis is usually single layered. Epidermal cells are parenchymatous with a small amount of cytoplasm lining the cell wall and a large vacuole. The outside of the epidermis is often covered with a waxy thick layer called the cuticle, which prevents the loss of water. Cuticle is absent in roots. Stomata are structure present in the epidermis of leaves. Stomata regulate the process of transpiration and gaseous exchange. Each stoma is composed of two bean-shaped cells known as gourd cell, which enclose stomatal pore. In grasses, the gourd cells are dumbbell shaped. The outer wall of the gourd cell away from the stomatal pore and thin at the inner wall toward the stomatal pore are highly thickened. The gourd cell possesses chloroplast and regulate the opening and closing of stomata. Sometimes a few epidermal cells in the vicinity of the gourd cell become specialized in their shape and size and are known as subsidiary cell. The stomatal aperture, gourd cells and the surrounding subsidiary cell are together called stomatal apertures. This cell of the epidermis bear a number of hairs. The root hair are unicellular elongation of the epidermal cell and help absorb water and minerals from the soil. On the stem, the epidermal hair are called trichomes. The trichomes in the shoot system are usually multicellular. They may be branched or unbranched and soft or stiff. They may even be secretory. The trichomes help in preventing water loss due to the transpiration. The ground tissue system. All tissue except epidermis and vascular bundle consist the ground tissue. It consists of simple tissue such as parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchymatous cells are usually present in cortex, pericycle, pith and medullary rays. In the primary stems and roots. In leaves, the ground tissue consists of thin-walled chloroplast containing cells and is called mesophyll. The vascular tissue system. The vascular system consists of complex tissue, the phloem and the xylem. The xylem and phloem together constitute vascular bundles. In dicotyledonous stems, cambium is present between phloem and xylem. Such vascular bundles, because of the presence of cambium, possesses the ability to form secondary xylem and phloem tissue and hence are called open vascular bundle. In the monocotyledonous, the vascular bundles have no cambium present in them, hence since they do not form secondary tissue, they are referred to as closed. When xylem and phloem within a vascular bundle are arranged in an alternate manner along the different radii, the arrangement is called radial, such as in roots. In conjoint type, the vascular bundles, the xylem and phloem, are jointly situated along the same radius of vascular bundle. Such vascular bundles are common in stems and leaves. The conjoint vascular bundles usually have the phloem located only on the outer side of xylem. Anatomy of dicotyledonous and monocotyledonous plant. For a better understanding of tissue organization of root, stem and leaves, it is convenient to study the transverse section of the mature zones of the organs. Dicotyledonous root. Look at the figure 6.6a. It shows the transverse section of the sunflower root. The internal tissue organization is as follows. The outermost layer of epiblema. Many of the cell of epiblema protrude in the form of unicellular root hairs. The cortex consists of several layers of thin-walled parenchymatous cell with intercellular space. The innermost layer of the cortex is called endodermis. It comprises a single layer of barrel-shaped cell with an intercellular space. The tangential as well as radial wall of the endodermal cell have a deposition of water impermeable waxy material subrine in the form of Casparian strips. Next to endodermis lies a few layers of thick-walled parenchymatous cell referred to as pericycle. Initiation of lateral roots and vascular cambium during the secondary growth take place in this cell. The pith is a small, inconspicuous. The parenchymatous cell which lie between the xylem and the phloem are called conjunctive tissue. These are usually 2 to 4 xylem and phloem patches. Later, a cambium ring develops between the xylem and phloem. All tissue on the inner side of the endodermis such as pericycle, vascular bundle and pith constitute the still. Monocotyledonous root. The anatomy of the monocot root is similar to the dicot root in many respects. It has epidermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle, vascular bundle and pith as compared to the dicot root which have fewer xylem bundles. There are usually more than 6 polyarch xylem bundle in the monocot root. Pith is large and well developed. Monocotyledonous root do not undergo any secondary growth. Dicotyledonous stem. The transverse section of typical young dicotyledonous stem shows that the epidermis is the outermost protective layer of the stem covered with a thick layer of cuticle. It may bear trichomes and a few stomata. These cells arranged in multiple layers between epidermis and pericycle constitute the cortex. It consists of 3 subzones. The outer hypodermis consists of a few layers of collenchymatous cells just below the epidermis, which provide mechanical strength to the young stem. Cortical layer below hypodermis consists of rounded, thin-walled parenchymatous cell which conspicuous intercellular space. The innermost layer of the cortex is called the endodermis. The cells of the endodermis are rich in starch grains and the layer is also referred to as the starch sheet. Pericycle is present on the inner side of the endodermis and the above of the phloem in the form of semilunar patches of sclerenchyma. In between the vascular bundles, there are a few layers of radially placed parenchymatous cell which constitute medullary rays. A large number of vascular bundles are arranged in a ring, and ring arrangement of vascular bundle is a characteristic of dicot stem. Each vascular bundle is conjoined, open, and with enlarged protoxylem. A large number of rounded parenchymatous cells with large intercellular space which occupy the central portion of the stem constitute the pith. Monocotyledonous stem. The monocot stem has a sclerenchymatous hypodermis, a large number of scattered vascular bundles. It is surrounded by a sclerematous bundle sheet and a large conspicuous parenchymatous ground tissue. Vascular bundles are conjoined and closed. Peripheral vascular bundles are generally smaller than the centrally located ones. The phloem parenchyma is absent and water conjoined cavities are present with the vascular bundles. Dorsiventral dicotyledonous leaf. The vertical section of a dorsiventral leaf through the lamina show three main parts, namely epidermis, mesophyll, and vascular system. The epidermis, which cover both the upper surface adaxial epidermis and lower surface abaxial epidermis of the leaf as a conspicuous cuticle. The abaxial epidermis generally bears more stomata than the adaxial epidermis. The latter may even lack stomata. The tissue between the upper and the lower epidermis is called the mesophyll. Mesophyll, which possesses chloroplast and carry out photosynthesis, is made up of parenchyma. It has two types of cell, palisade parenchyma and the spongy parenchyma. The adaxially placed palisade parenchyma is made up of elongated cells which are arranged vertically and parallel to each other. The oval and round and loosely arranged spongy parenchyma is situated below the palisade cell and extend to the lower epidermis. There are numerous large space and air cavities between the cells. Vascular system includes vascular bundles which can be seen in the veins and the midrib. The size of the vascular bundles are dependent on the size of the veins. The veins vary in thickness in the reticulate venation of the dicot leaves. The vascular bundles are surrounded by a layer of thick walled bundle sheet cell. Look at figure 6.8a and find the position of xylem in the vascular bundle. Isobilateral monocotyledonous leaf. The anatomy of isobilateral leaf is similar to that of dorsiventral leaf in many ways. It shows the following characteristic differences. In an isobilateral leaf, the stomata are present in both the surface of the epidermis and the mesophyll is not differentiated into palisade and spongy parenchyma. In grasses, certain adaxial epidermal cells along the veins modified themselves into large empty colorless cells. These are called bulliform cells. These are called bulliform cells. When the bulliform cells in the leaf have absorbed water and are turgid, the leaf surface is exposed. When they are flaccid due to water stress, they make the leaf curl inward to minimize water loss. The parallel venation in monocot leaves is reflected in the near similar size of vascular bundle, except in main veins, as seen in vertical section of the leaves. Secondary growth. The growth of the root and stem in length with the help of apical meristem is called the primary growth. Apart from primary growth, most dicotyledonous plants exhibit an increase in girth. This increase is called the secondary growth. The tissue involved in secondary growth are the two lateral meristem, vascular cambium and cork cambium. Vascular cambium. The meristematic layer that is responsible for cutting of vascular tissue, xylem and phloem, is called vascular cambium. In the young stem, it is present in patches as a single layer between the xylem and the phloem. Later, it forms a complete ring, formation of cambial ring. In dicot stem, the cell of the cambium present between primary xylem and primary phloem is the interfascicular cambium. The cell of the medullary rays adjoining these interfascicular cambium become meristematic and form the interfascicular cambium. Thus, a continuous ring of cambium is formed. Activity of the cambial ring. The cambial ring becomes active and begins to cut off new cell both towards and inner and the outer sides. The cell cut off towards pith mature into secondary xylem, and the cell cut off towards periphery mature into secondary phloem. The cambium is generally more active on the inner side than the outer. As a result, the amount of secondary xylem produced is more than secondary phloem and soon form a compact mass. The primary and secondary phloems get gradually crossed due to the continued formation and accumulation of secondary xylem. The primary xylem, however, remains more or less intact in or around the center. At some places, the cambium form a narrow band of parenchyma which passes through the secondary xylem and the secondary phloem in the radial directions. These are the secondary medullary rays. Spring wood and autumn wood. The activity of the cambium is under the control of many physiological and environmental factors. In temperate regions, the climate conditions are not uniform through the year. In the spring season, cambium is very active and produces a large number of xylem elements having vessels with wider cavities. The wood formed during this season is called spring wood or early wood. In winter, the cambium is less active and form fewer xylem elements that have narrow vessels. And this wood is called autumn wood or late wood. The spring wood is lighter in color and has a lower density, whereas the autumn wood is darker and has a higher density. The two kinds of wood that appear as alternate concentric rings constitute an annual ring. Annual rings seen in a cut stem give an estimate of the age of the tree. Hardwood and sapwood. In old trees, the greater part of the secondary xylem is dark brown due to deposition of organic compound like tannins, resins, oil, gum, aromatic substance and essential oil in the central or innermost layer of the stem. These substances make it hard, durable and resistant to the attacks of microbes, organisms and insects. These resins comprise dead elements with highly lignified wall and is called hardwood. The hardwood does not conduct water, but it gives mechanical support to the stem. The peripheral region of the secondary xylem is lighter in color and is known as sapwood. It is involved in the conduction of water and minerals from root to leaf. Cork cambium. As the stem continues to increase in girth due to the activity of vascular cambium, the outer cortical and epidermis layer get broken and need to be replaced to provide new protective cell layer. Hence, sooner or later, another meristematic tissue called cork cambium or phallogen develops, usually in the cortex region. Phallogen is a couple of layer thick. It is made of narrow, thin walled and nearly rectangular cell. Phallogen cuts off cell on both sides. The outer cell differentiated into cork or phloem, while the inner cell differentiated into secondary cortex or phalloderm. The cork is impervious to water due to submarine deposition in the cell wall. The cell of secondary cortex and parenchymatous, phallogen, phloem and phalloderm are collectively known as periderm. Due to activity of the cork cambium, pressure builds up on the remaining layer peripheral to phallogen and ultimately these layers die and slows off. Bark is a non-technical term that refers to all tissue exterior to the vascular cambium, therefore including secondary phloem. Bark refers to a number of tissue types, periderm and secondary phloem. Bark that is formed early in the season is called early or soft bark. Towards the end of season, late bark or hard bark is formed. Name the various kind of cell layer which constitute the bark. At certain region, the phallogen cuts off closely arranged parenchymatous cell on the outer side inside the cork cell. These parenchymatous cells soon rupture the epidermis, forming a lens-shaped opening called lenticles. Lenticles permit the exchange of gases between the outer atmosphere and the internal tissue of the stem. These occur in most woody trees. Secondary growth in roots. In the dicot stem, the vascular cambium is completely secondary in origin. It originates from the tissue located just below the phloem bundle, a portion of pericycle tissue above the protoxylem, forming a complete and continuous wavy ring which later becomes circular. Further events are similar to those already described above for a dicotyledonous stem. Secondary growth also occur in stem and root of gymnosperm. However, secondary growth does not occur in monocotyledonous. Summary. Anatomically, a plant is made up of different kind of tissue. The plant tissue are broadly classified into meristematic, apical, lateral and intercalary, and permanent, simple and complex. Assimilation of food and its storage, transportation of water, minerals and photosynthesis and mechanical support are the main function of tissue. There are three types of tissue system: epidermal, ground and vascular. The epidermal tissue system are made up of epidermal cell, stomata and the epidermal appendages. The ground tissue system form the main bulk of the plant. It is divided into three zones: cortex, pericycle and pith. The vascular tissue system is formed by the xylem and phloem. On the basis of presence of cambium, location of xylem and phloem, the vascular bundle are of different types. The vascular bundle form the conducting tissue and translocate water, minerals and food materials. Monocotyledonous and dicotyledonous plants show marked variation in their internal structure. They differ in type, number and location of vascular bundle. The secondary growth occur in most of the dicotyledonous root and stem, and it increase the girth diameter of the organ by the activity of the vascular cambium and the coral cambium. The wood is actually secondary xylem. There are different type of wood on the basis of their composition and time of production.